Coming up, is President Trump actually bringing back segregation? Also, Joe Budden and Melyssa Ford go back at it, back and forth in a heated debate on the latest episode of the Joe Budden podcast about Anthony Mackie's comments on masculinity. All that and more on episode number 118 of Up to Speed with Trip Simpson.
The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode number 118 of Up to Speed with Trip Simpson. I am your host, Trip Simpson, in the building.
Take the weed, I need the money now.
The king in the north! The king in the north!
All right, that's right. And before we get this live stream started today, y'all know first and foremost, we gotta handle business. Let's get it.
Family moving up in the business. I know you're gonna look after family.
What family you talking about, Ice?
Fuck, I look invisible, nigga.
That's right, I am not invisible, so do me a favor. If you're watching live on Facebook, YouTube, or X, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button, tap that notification bell, and select all if you're not already subscribed. And don't forget to comment in the live chat below. By hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button, and commenting in the live chat below, you help this live stream get off into the algorithm. With that being said, let's get today's show rolling. I got quite a few things I want to talk about tonight. I shouldn't be here with you too long, but yeah, just a couple things I want to discuss. I want to discuss the victim mentality. That's going to be the theme of the night. The victim mentality, okay? And how a lot of these people out here are imaginary victims. It's all in their mind. All right, now before we get to that though, first, I want to get into a local issue, a DC issue. Like I said, it's a local issue for me. But it could be used as an example for other big cities in America. Okay? So recently, there was a survey done amongst a couple hundred restaurant owners in Washington, D.C. And they were asked about the probability of their business experiencing success in the near future. And the answers were actually pretty shocking. Okay, they were pretty shocking. Now, to me, I don't know about what you guys think, but to me, what was discovered in this survey is very alarming. Okay? It's very alarming, but it's not shocking necessarily to me, because honestly, I called this shit a long time ago, right? I called it a long time ago when DC residents decided to pass this bill called Initiative 82, okay? And it's a bill that was overwhelmingly passed by DC residents that basically had a major impact for payments for tipped employees, meaning employees that work in like restaurants, bars, and stuff like that. People who operate off tips. All right. So, anyways, let's get to that. Let's get to this news clip real quick, and we'll get this thing going. All right. Let's go.
Rising food costs and tipped wage.
All right. Hopefully that audio's good. Let's get it.
Rising food costs and tipped wage increases. These are just some of the reasons that a lot of restaurants in the district are struggling right now. And now, a dire warning.
Yeah, the Restaurant Association Metropolitan Washington says more than 2 in 5 D.C. restaurants could close this year. 7 News' John Gonzalez is live for us in Georgetown. And John, restaurants are under a combination of pressures right now.
That's absolutely right. And we can tell you that, the Restaurant Association here surveyed more than 200 restaurants between January and February, and many owners gave their input before these sweeping federal cuts. Now, take a look. The survey shows more than 40% of full-service casual restaurants will likely close by the end of the year. By the numbers, more than 51% of restaurants expect conditions to dwindle this.
Do you guys see this? Do you guys see this? 44, that's almost half. Almost half of the restaurant owners in Washington, D.C. believe that their restaurants are likely to close down in Washington, D.C. Okay? Over half of the restaurant owners expect conditions to dwindle. Okay? Pay attention, bro. It may not sound like much, but this is very serious. Let's go.
This year, that is a 21% increase from RAMW's survey last year. Now, 62% of restaurants surveyed reported lower profits in 2024. Now, on top of inflation and changes with the federal workforce, many restaurant owners believe increased labor costs from Initiative 82 and other wage increases have hurt the industry tremendously. In July, tipped worker wages in the city will go up from $10 to $12 an hour. A $2 increase each year will continue for the next several years. Sean Townsend tells me it's time to have an honest conversation with council members who do not see eye to eye with restaurant owners.
Multiple arguments to whether or not Initiative 82 has an impact or not, right? It's fair argument. However, I think once the numbers start to speak for themselves, that's something that we just can't deny. And what our members are saying is there's now data that directly correlates the increase in labor costs to the bottom line.
Townsend tells me he is 100% on board, fully supports tipped workers having a fair and decent living wage, but he says that this law needs to be re-examined. The Restaurant Association is working with local leaders to try to figure out any policy changes that can benefit both sides here.
All right, so there we have it. Now, once again, okay, this just goes to show you how uninformed most residents in heavily leaning Democrat jurisdictions actually are. Okay? Like I said, DC residents overwhelmingly voted for a law called Initiative 82. Okay? And what Initiative 82 did was basically take minimum wage for tipped service employees from like $2 or $3 an hour, which is what it's always traditionally been, up to eventually, by 2027, standard non-tipped employee minimum wages. Okay? So now currently, minimum wage in DC for non-tipped employees is $17.50 an hour. Okay? So this means by 2027, waiters and bartenders in DC will most likely be getting damn near $20 an hour plus tips. And thanks to President Trump, those tips will be untaxed.
Look at my African American over here. Look at him. Are you the greatest? You know what I'm talking about?
But on a serious note though, what I want y'all to do is, I'm gonna pull this up, right? I'm gonna pull up the actual law. I want y'all to take a look at this just so you know I'm not bullshitting you. Look at this shit. Look at this. All right, can y'all see that? Can y'all see that? Let me make that screen larger. All right, so it says Washington, D.C. Initiative 82, increase minimum wage for tipped employees. All right, so this was voted on back in 2022. All right, and as you can see here, 132,000 people, which was 73.9%, voted yes for this law. So this is what it's designed to do, all right? Just in case you didn't believe what I was telling you. So it says Initiative 82 was designed to increase minimum wage for tipped employees from $5.05 to match the minimum wage of non-tipped employees by 2027. As of July 2021, the minimum wage for non-tipped employees was $15.20 per hour. The initiative establishes the following minimum wages for tipped employees: $6 per hour by January 1st, $8 per hour by July 1st, 2023, $10 per hour by July 1st, 2024, $12 per hour by July 1st, 2025, and $14 per hour by July 1st, 2026, okay? And equal to non-tipped employee minimum wage by July 1st, 2027. Okay, so like I said, 2025, minimum wage is already $17.50 an hour. Okay, so by 2027, it's probably going to be closer to $20 an hour. Okay, so there are several reasons why this is a horrible idea. I mean, number one, it's going to cause prices to go through the roof, which they already are in DC to begin with. Okay? And that's been causing less and less people to patronize these businesses. Anyone who knows anything about running a business knows that your highest cost is payroll. Who in their right mind at this point would open up a restaurant in Washington, D.C., when in the near future, the very near future, you'll have to pay everybody at the restaurant at least $20 an hour plus tips? I mean, it would be just plain stupid. It would be stupid at this point when you can open up a restaurant right across the line in Maryland or Virginia and have over 50% less in payroll costs. Actually, more than 50% less in payroll costs. Because in Maryland and Virginia, it's still like $4 or $5 an hour. I mean, it's common sense. But see, progressives think that they're too smart for their own good. Okay, low-paying jobs aren't in existence, or they aren't designed for you to be able to buy a home and support a family of three. They are designed for young people in or fresh out of college. They're designed for like teenagers. They're designed for failed adults who are looking to build their way into a second chance in life, or for people who want to work part-time and make extra money. It's that simple. But you got these left-wing nutcases who think they're God's gift to society, who think that all people's problems are tied to minimum wage, when in fact they aren't. See, America is a meritocracy. Okay, it's a meritocracy-based system, which means the more you build yourself and the more you obtain credible certs or degrees or experiences in some cases, the more you earn in society. Minimum wage is the bottom of the barrel. And it should be used more so as a metric to your status in society and what you need to do to improve, as opposed to some unearned privilege and income that everyone gets just for fucking breathing. I mean, shit. To hell with the restaurant shit. regular minimum wage shouldn't be as high as it is. $17.50 an hour for minimum wage is of no benefit to anyone. Yeah, it may seem like you're making more money, but in actuality, you aren't, because the cost of everything else goes up. Childcare goes up, groceries go up, most retail goods go up, even rent. So yeah, anytime anyone ever asks me about minimum wage, my answer is to always either say lower it or leave it as is. Because an increase only causes higher prices on everything else. All right, this whole restaurant situation in DC is living proof. Okay, as we stated, almost half are on their way to closure by the end of the year. So there's that. All right, so up next, we are gonna talk about this whole Anthony Mackie clip from the Pivot podcast that oddly enough seems to be pissing a lot of black women and their soy boy simp allies off to no end. Okay? Now, a great example of that would be the miniature hissy fit that Melyssa Ford threw to Joe Budden on the Joe Budden podcast when they discussed this recently. Okay, so before we go to the conversation between Joe Budden and Melyssa Ford, I want to quickly play what Anthony Mackie had to say on the Pivot podcast, okay? All right, so let's check that out. Let's go to that real quick, and then we will get to Joe Budden and them. All right, let's get it.
Boys humble. Like my boys have never had. I keep my boys humble. Like my boys have never had a pair of Jordans. You know, my boys don't do all that internet fly shit. I'm like your kids. And no, I could be the biggest star in the world. Do not let me catch you being stupid. Do not. And my oldest gets it. My 15-year-old, he tells the other ones, he's like, yo, don't make dad mad. Because once you get one that's right, he's gonna straighten the other ones out. So it's just that thing of, in the past 20 years, we've been living through the death of the American male. They have literally killed masculinity in our homes and our communities, for one reason or another. But I raised my boys to be young men. And however you feel about that, you feel about that. But my boys will always be respectful. They will always say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. No, sir, no, ma'am. They will always say thank you. They will always open a door for a lady. They will always make sure that their mother is taken care and provided for. They will always be men. And that's always since they were 2 years old. Every time I left for a job, I tell my 15-year-old, you're the man of the house. You make sure these doors are locked every night, this alarm is on, you text me or you call me every night before you go to bed and you wake up.
I love that.
Because we're men. If I'm not there to protect, he gotta be there to protect. Because you can have all the money in the world, climb through the window, that money means nothing. Right. You can have all the celebrity in the world, jump through the door, that celebrity means nothing. Yeah. So you gotta have a little guard in there. You know, and so for me, it's always that idea of American masculinity is very different.
Hold on. All right. So there we have it, right? Now, maybe it's just me, but Anthony Mackie didn't say anything crazy or out of order or disrespectful. But for some strange reason, there is a faction of black women who apparently have a problem with what he had to say. Which brings us to a segment, like I was talking about earlier on the Joe Budden podcast, where Joe and Melyssa Ford went at it. Like they went at it crazy over this particular issue. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna get that clip up, and then we're going to delve into this topic. All right, so bear with me real quick. Let me get that up. Real quick. Pause. All right, where's the shit at? Here we go.
And
bear with me, guys. All right. All right, here we go.
I could be the biggest star in the world. Do not let me catch you being stupid. Do not. And my oldest gets it. My 15-year-old, he tells the other one,
Shots
he's like,
Clark.
yo, don't make dad mad. Because once you get one that's right, he gonna straighten the other ones out. So it's just that thing of, in the past 20 years,
You leave your 15-year-old.
and however you feel about that, you feel about that. But my boys will always be respectful. They will always say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. No, sir, no, ma'am. They will always say thank you.
Like that.
They will always open the door for a lady. They will always make sure that their mother is taken care and provided for. They will always be men. And that's always since they were 2 years old. Every time I left for a job, I tell my 15-year-old, you're the man of the house. You make sure these doors are locked every night, this alarm is on, you text me or you call me every night before you go to bed and you wake up.
I love that.
Because we're men. If I'm not there to protect, he got to be there to protect. Because you can have all the money in the world, climb through the window, that money means nothing.
I know we just heard that, but I'm just going to let it play from this point because I don't want to skip too far past the point of reference. So let's go.
You can have all the celebrity in the world. You jump through the door, that celebrity means nothing.
All right. This sounds like much more of a conversation about being a good father than what American masculinity being that.
I'll wait for the masculinity part.
Yeah.
I don't know so that's what I was wondering, like, what did he mean by saying over the last 20 years, like, has killed the American male and the idea of masculinity? But then also, do you guys agree with that statement of when you leave the house, you leave your 15-year-old in charge? Is that like kind of hoisting too much responsibility on a child's shoulders?
No, I don't think so. I'm with him with that. I mean, I don't have a 15-year-old, male in the house, but yeah, at that age, that's what I was. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they expect you to be the man of the house.
Yeah. Look, like shit, like he's saying, yo, make sure the doors is locked, make sure the alarm is on, make sure the windows are on. Like that's responsibility.
He's not talking about like going out and getting a high earning salary and
no, I don't mean
digging wells or.
No, I don't mean that. I mean like being like the protector of the house. Like should somebody come inside, kind of.
All right, let's stop right there. This is exactly why women should not be included in conversations about masculinity or raising boys to be men. She's the only person in the room who doesn't freaking get it. And it's crazy because every man in the room understands exactly what Anthony Mackie is saying. What's he saying? For the slow people in the back, and also Melyssa Ford, basically, if he isn't taught at a young age to be a protector of the house, right? And we're talking basic things here. How in the hell is he going to learn to be that way when he grows up? That's why I be saying a lot of these women are in the way, okay? They are in the way of the development of young black males because all they want to do is coddle them. But these will be the same black women running around here complaining how they don't feel protected by black men. Well, newsflash. Y'all are raising the same punk ass niggas who you complain about. You put the father through hell and child support for 16 or 17 years. Then when you realize you done coddled the nigga into a piece of shit, you try to pawn him off on the daddy at the last minute. Ain't nothing we can do with the 16 years of bitch assness you installed into this little nigga since birth. It's nothing we can do. And I hope the child support was worth it. But seriously though, look at Melyssa Ford's whole demeanor here, all right, in this conversation. Now granted, she doesn't have any kids, but this is the attitude and pushback a lot of black men, and honestly, not just black men, okay? This happens to a lot of men, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, right? In America, to be perfectly clear here. It happens to everybody. But this is the pushback that too many men are getting from their child's mothers, and it's turning us into a nation of effeminate, soft men. But maybe I'm crazy, though. Maybe I'm crazy. Anyway, let's continue.
Thing like, should an intruder come over?
No, he's just saying be responsible.
He's just saying you just got to do the check, the fucking checks in the house before you go to bed. What are your brothers?
I was left alone, okay? All I had was dogs and cats and fucking birds and fish, okay? That's who looked after me.
You was in the woods somewhere.
I was not in the woods. I was in Toronto.
He was in the woods of Toronto.
I was living in Toronto proper, okay? It was the city.
Were you in the cabin?
No, I wasn't in a fucking cabin.
You know how the Russians do when they come here? They go deep in the woods.
I was not in the woods.
What's our deep dive here?
It sounds like he was doing some great father talk.
Yeah.
And I think that was super.
I thought that was going to be something else.
It's just his statement saying the American male is dead and the idea of masculinity is dead and all that other stuff. Like, it just had people interpreting it just different ways.
In this conversation, that sounds like a clickbait headline. But if you want to talk about is American masculinity dead, I don't think so. I think that they're...
Yes.
Okay.
All right, let's hear it.
Women has taken on the role of American masculinity in men. And not intentionally, it's just that's what's being pushed to us. Because it's being highlighted that women are now the masculine one in relationships, when there's still good men out there not being highlighted, and good men that believe in responsibility and being a man in a relationship.
Isn't part of being a good man not being highlighted for being a good man?
Not to be a dick. Because I'm not trying to be a dick, and I'm not trying to harp on things. This was my fucking point with that Dochi straight man red flag conversation.
Let's go.
This was the exact
it's being
point.
Highlighted.
What he's saying is that,
let me stop him right there, because I gotta say this. Joe Budden is exactly right, okay? First off, the Dochi comment was crazy. So for those of y'all who don't know, singer, or I don't know what she is, singer, rapper, whatever, female artist Dochi was asked what her red flags were with men, I think. And her answer was straight men are a red flag. Her answer was literally that straight men in general are a red flag. And you had chicks out here agreeing with her. Okay? And it just goes to show you how ungrateful American women and women in the West in general are for the men who built the greatest society in the world, where they have the fucking freedom to talk crazy like this. If straight American men didn't die in wars, die building skyscrapers, airplanes, railroad tracks, power grids, you name it, none of you would have the luxuries that you have and enjoy today. You wouldn't have it. Matter of fact, if it wasn't for men, majority of whom are straight heterosexual men, you wouldn't even have the right to vote. Because if a large group of men didn't decide to grant you those rights and back them up with the threat of violence against the other men who opposed, you wouldn't have the right. Straight men are a red flag. Y'all are crazy. Imagine if America had no straight men, right? Just all effeminate, female-like dudes running around everywhere. The other superpowers of the world would instantly demolish us. Like instantly. But yet, we got these ignorant ass spoiled women, not all of them, talking crazy like they don't need us. I mean, it's completely ridiculous, man. It's completely ridiculous, and I understand Joe Budden's frustration here. All right, let's continue.
There are still men.
Talk about it.
Men.
Talk about it.
Whatever your interpretation of that is, he described his. A lot of men agree with.
Yeah, he just
that.
Okay.
There are still men.
That's not being erased, though. You think what he described as being a man is being erased?
No, and hold on one second.
Also, real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just now tuning in, do me a favor. If you're watching live on YouTube, X, or Facebook, hit the like button, hit the share button. Also, don't forget to comment in the live chat below. Help this live stream get off into the algorithm. All right, let's continue.
here. What you're alluding to. I
can't land.
I
So
know
you can't
that.
tell me what
It's
I'm-
okay.
You can't tell me what I'm alluding to if I can't land.
I'm basing it on the last conversation that we had about this, where you landed all over the place.
But we're having a new conversation, and I'm making a point that connects full circle. The depiction of what a man looks like, many people, and I said this in that Dochi conversation, feel that there's an erasure happening with that. So when you hear somebody say, hey, I'm raising mine like this, like men, like some people still take pride in whatever that interpretation of man is. But to act like when you pick up a newspaper, a magazine, hear from prominent black people, fucking see on TV, see in movies that version of man is
No
not
longer
being
exists?
represented
Yeah.
properly, like there's a reason for it, and that Dochi comment is part of it. She has nothing to do with this, so I don't want to get back to her, but that's why y'all that were like, oh, y'all making a big deal out of nothing. Some people were making a big deal out of it because they see a different picture happening over the years.
They tying it to the other shit.
Our children, I mean, we have children that we're raising, and what they're learning is not, what they're learning is on the contrary of what's happening in the home.
They'll show you a man sucking another man's dick today before they show you a man acting like a man.
Exactly.
Wow. That was a great point. All right. Joe Budden is spitting nothing but facts here. Nothing but facts. How many of y'all have seen, because I wanted to bring this up a couple of shows ago, but I didn't get a chance to talk about it. But speaking of what Joe Budden just said, how many of y'all have seen that new Tyler Perry show called Beauty in Black? All right. All in all, it's an entertaining show. All right, I wouldn't go out on a limb and call it a good show, but nonetheless, it's entertaining as hell. All right, it's so damn messy. You know, you can't help but want to see where it's going next, right? So yeah, salute to Tyler Perry for sure. However, to Joe Budden's point, the problem with this series is that the Alphabet Mafia scenes are out of control, like completely out of control. And what's crazy is that the most competent and dominant males on the show are actually Alphabet Boys. And if you don't know what I mean by Alphabet Boys, look it up. But like I said, to Joe's point, they will go out of their way to portray black men in that image and make them the prominent characters. But the traditional heterosexual black male who holds down his family and protects everyone, almost nowhere to be found throughout the entire show. So yeah, we ain't crazy. All right, the agenda is right there. It's right there in everyone's faces. So we got a comment on Dave 10 says straight men are red flags. It's crazy. Facts, bro. Facts. But that's what she said. I can find the video. I'll pull it up for you if you want to see it. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. All right, let's get back to Joe.
Exactly.
What does acting like a man mean?
Acting like a man, being responsible.
I keep saying that's open for your own interpretation.
It is, and so
many people agree with some of the things that he laid out, which is, hey, yes, I'm 15 years old. Yes, there's older people, older women, adults in the house, but none of that matters to a man. A man is going to be a man at all points in time.
Preach, nigga.
So yeah, that's me telling my son, hey, when you get a job at 16, this is what you do when you get paid. You take that money home.
Yes.
Yeah, you live with your mom, and you be the man of the house. If there's no man in there, if she's not married, if there's nobody else there, that's your job.
Yes.
Make sure these bills are paid. Help mom in any way you possibly can, because that's what a man does. And so for you niggas to act like there's not an erasure happening, I don't understand it.
Let Mel
I don't understand.
Let Mel go, and I want to say.
I don't feel like the Doshi conversation applies here because what she was describing her preference. And if you're saying that she's describing a type of man that lacks masculinity, then that would lend to the argument.
There's an attack on straight men.
Hold on,
I'm not trying to interpret it from her.
Well,
There's an attack on strong, straight men. Period. I'm not trying to fucking read through cryptic notes about how you feel about some shit.
That is a fact. You are 100% correct. I told you back when we was over at Park's crib. I said, "Yo, you ever want to test that theory?"
And look, and watch this. Watch what she does. Right? Watch what she does because Joe Budden is smoking her whole argument. Watch what she does.
Go search "straight black man" on Twitter and put it in quotes. And you went and looked and was like, "Oh, this is pissing me off." Like that's just been a thing.
I know, but anytime that's a thing.
But that's what I'm saying.
Anytime we start hearing from somebody who might share in those views, every excuse is made for him.
Every excuse
is made for him.
They start bringing up different shit that has nothing to do with the topic.
Hey, how about we just
stuff over the year? Like,
how about we just eliminate the excuses and say there are some people that share in the ideology that these niggas are red flags and they're dangerous and we'd rather be around a bear. That's the point of the fucking bear conversation again.
It's really not. It's really not.
A man is telling you something.
Let me ask you two something. Let me ask you two something as having daughters. What are the things that you
even that's the point?
Oh my God!
Why you can't hear from a man that don't have a daughter?
Can I fucking talk?
Yes, I'm sorry.
And because having a daughter changed your perspective on a lot of things.
Thank you fucking very much.
Hey,
but not mine.
Ice, but wait, that is the point.
Joe,
niggas don't need a daughter to qualify. We speaking as men.
Joe, I hear you. I'm telling you, as a man with a daughter,
we got that part.
But you can't.
We're talking about just men.
I know you yelling, but
we just talking about men.
I understand.
We're not talking about your daughter, your mom, your sister. We got that part. This conversation started and should end with men telling you about men and the erasure of men.
Yes.
You don't need to speak to somebody with a daughter to see how a man feels. Speak to a fucking man.
Okay, let her get her shit off.
No,
please.
No, he
continue.
He completely shut down everything that I put. No, because I can't respond to the Doshi thing. I can't respond to the bear thing. I can't because it all factors in. It does. My fucking argument when you keep bringing up this bear shit, it's fucking pissing me off because you are being willfully fucking obtuse. All right, stay fucking there. You two, you have daughters.
And let me pause right there. I just wanted to let them cook real quick because I wanted to show you how the world of deflection that these women bring into arguments that they lose. This is why I don't argue with women about men's shit. Because when you prove them wrong and they get backed into a corner, they do either one or two things. Either they move the goalposts or they try to virtue signal to look for sympathy from one of the weaker dudes in the room. And that's exactly what she just did. Ice folded. Oh, I have a daughter. She virtue signaled, and he caught it. Watch how she does this. It's crazy. And don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say, I'm not one of these guys that think women should go outside of their nature and try to match logic with men. But what I am saying is that this is why they don't belong in certain conversations. Because as men, if we're talking about masculinity and improving, we don't need a woman in the way bringing up nonsense like this. It halts progression. Because you're going to end up going down a rabbit hole, arguing about topics that don't have anything to do with what we're trying to fix. Because she's going to bring up a bunch of anomalies and what about this and what about that and what about when I was in the 6th grade? All this shit. Anyway, let's continue.
What is it that you are teaching your daughters in terms of when they go out into the world, how to conduct themselves? Only in terms of their sense of personal safety. Who do they need to keep themselves safe from? Who? And don't just answer the question.
People. Yeah, I was gonna say the world.
Okay.
The world.
Can you be a little bit more specific?
People, like you said, I get where you're trying to go with that. I'm not sitting there. I mean, I'm not at that point yet, but it's not hey, look out for men, look out for boys. No,
I can answer
look
that.
out for people.
Okay.
People are
and
fucked up out here
and
today.
I'm just asking you two specifically.
Wait, hold on. I have a 15-year-old daughter.
He can answer better than
I have a 15-year-old daughter. I tell her to be on the lookout for people, jealous girls, but I also tell her to be on the lookout for older men that's trying to prey on younger girls over in rides and stuff like that. Is that what you're getting at? I tell her that, but that's what you learn in growing up, and that's some men do that.
No, and that is fair, and that is fucking accurate. I can tell you stories of when I was 11 and 8. We had a handyman that used to come to the house, and one day my father was just like, my parents worked, and my dad was literally like, he's coming to the house, just give him the money for the work that he did, blah, blah, blah. He came to the house, I was there alone, he was drunk, and he tried to do some shit to me. It was fucking terrifying because I'm in my own fucking house, and this is somebody that my parents fucking trusted. And he came there drunk, and it was really fucking bad. That is just one experience. There's so many more that I can talk about that happened before the age of fucking 16 years old. The reality is that you can be in the safest environment and still there will be a situation that unfolds that where you need to teach your daughters to be careful of predatory boys and men. And I'm not talking about people.
I know.
Because
Can I
ask you a
question? Can I ask you a question?
Just wait 1 second. Anything can fucking happen.
That story about the handyman, was your dad there for that?
No, he wasn't. He was at work. It was during the day. It was like fucking noon or something like that.
Now I told your ass, if you want something slow and green, you better get you a turtle, ho.
Bro, do y'all see Joe's face? Joe is thinking the same thing that we're all thinking. Let's run it back.
Now I told your ass, if you want something slow and green, you better get you a turtle, ho.
That story was complete and utter cap. I mean, come on, bro. I got 4 kids, ages 13, 10, 6, and 1. There is no way in hell I'm leaving any kid under 12 in the house by themselves for an extended period of time. Okay? However, she wants us to believe that her parents left her in the house by her damn self at 8 years old and trusted a known drunk ass handyman, right? Because, period. Any nigga who's drunk by noon is got to be a known drunk. If you're drunk by noon on a weekday, you're a known drunk. So they left this 8-year-old in the house with a known drunk to come pick up money. And she wants us to believe that. I mean, if it's true, then her parents are complete idiots. If that's actually true, her parents are complete idiots. Let's let them cook.
Man,
Okay, now, so hold on.
There are systematic efforts that are out there to discredit and silence.
I'm not talking.
But you have to acknowledge that too,
I'm not.
Man, wait. Listen, you should acknowledge the fact that there is a movement to discredit the black man, to discredit men.
The straight black man.
The straight,
Not just black man, the straight black man.
Online, they're showing that women have all this power and women are in control of the home and the black men are not here to take care of their
Legislation says
children.
different.
Legislation where?
Legislation that's being passed, Roe v. Wade being overturned, the anti-abortion laws. There is literally.
We're talking about social.
All right, we got to pause it right there again. Okay? She's doing it again. She's moving the goalposts and virtue signaling simultaneously. Okay? She's doing this in an effort to try to deflect from the fact that she's wrong. Okay? First of all, abortion is still very legal in America. All right? So right there, that point is completely egregious. It is completely egregious. All right? She is putting on a masterclass in the art of modern women's innate ability to deflect away from the main point at all costs. Okay, this is a master class.
Social media that's being fed to our children.
Okay.
And now if you go on here, there's always something to discredit the black man. You know that and I know that. So that's what the point we're getting at, is that there's something that's going on. Not taking away that there's not, we know that there's predators out there. We know that there's men out here that take advantage, but there's also a lot of great men out there that take care of their family, that provide for their children, that protect the home, and that's not being highlighted anymore.
In no way, shape, or form am I fucking denying that at all. I'll highlight it as much as possible.
You don't when you say I'd rather be around a bear.
Oh my God, literally.
You don't though when you say that.
Stop, because the fucking bear is literally just a fucking extreme metaphor for the high incidence rate of fucking sexual assault against women and girls. That's it. It is a fucking metaphor. Get over it, okay?
Mel.
That has nothing to do with the erasure of the concept of the straight fucking man. It has nothing to do with it. It has to do with sexual assault.
Melyssa
That is
Ford.
it. That is it. That is all. That is it. That is all.
Hold up, please let me get this one word, please. And we don't have to yell and get hostile here.
Okay.
We don't have to
You're
do that.
right, but I'm very frustrated by the way
I
that
hear you.
has been handled
receive
over
you.
the course of months
understand
over
that, man.
here.
I receive
Especially
you,
for
but a
somebody who has
man-
literally experienced it. Literally experienced it more times than I care to
Melyssa
count.
I'm going to say this in closing because I feel like we have rehashed the bear conversation a bunch.
That's true.
But if the bear conversation is being had through the lens of only sexual assault victims and victims of sexual violence, then you have now answered a question while erasing the rest of the field of men, good men, cornerstone men, legacy building great men. You are erasing that and answering the question through the lens of trauma and pain and horrible experiences with men. So when you hear Anthony Mackie describe what it is to be a man, where is the confusion at? We're not talking about men that do that. We're talking about men, and men should be acknowledged.
Because the two things have nothing to fucking do with each other. Listen, all right, look, so just wait.
Okay.
Just wait.
I'm done.
The idea.
Because she's not going to get it no matter what you say.
But
you don't get it.
But
You
also-
don't
wait,
get
hold
it.
on.
You don't get
Mel,
it.
You feel like you're part of the problem because you also highlighted that pressure could be too much for the 15-year-old son. That's the first thing you went to.
We are going all over the
No,
fucking
I'm just saying
place.
that.
Listen, whoa. Just one
But you
second.
made an excuse for him to-
Wait 1 second. Wait 1 second. He brought up the bear. He brought it up. This wasn't even part of the fucking conversation right now. That was just throwing a fucking monkey wrench into the conversation about male masculinity. That has nothing to do with the fucking bear.
Got it.
That was
It
not
has
part
everything
of,
to do with the erasure of men and what it is to be a man.
Look.
And that's a man telling you.
No, just wait 1 second.
But even that, a man can't tell you nothing.
Okay, man. Go ahead.
There was this case that just unfolded in fucking France, and her name and the woman's at the helm of this case. Her name is Giselle Pellicot. She was 70 years old, and her husband spent the better part of a decade drugging her and advertising to men to come over and sexually assault her, and she did not know it. And do you know who these men were? There was like 50 of them, 51 of them got, some form of, punishment, legal punishment. These men were doctors, plumbers, lawyers. They were family men. They were grandfathers. They were all the things. The whole point is that there is no face of a predator. There's no face. There is no look. There's no nothing. You can't tell. So when women are talking about sexual assault, it has nothing to do with, be afraid of, men because they're just scary. It's just there's no fucking picture as to what a predator looks like. The predator can look like your next door fucking neighbor. The predator can look like your fucking father. The predator can be your uncle, can be your brother.
Maybe I'm crazy, but don't.
Well, as we know, dozens of folks voiced outrage in
what happened.
front of Allentown.
Are talking about sexual assault.
I want to stop her right there because if I'm not mistaken, okay, yeah, the face of a male predator it doesn't have a face, but at the same time, if you're choosing a bear, I mean, that's the literal face of a predator. You can take your chances with a human man, but the bear is going to kill you every time. Every single time. But anyway, I'll let her cook and we'll wrap this up.
It has nothing to do with, be afraid of, men because they're just scary. It's just there's no fucking picture as to what a predator looks like. The predator can look like your next door fucking neighbor. The predator can look like your fucking father. The predator can be your uncle, can be your brother, can be anybody. That's the whole point.
Which is more reason for Anthony Mackie to describe what raising a man looks like.
Can I say he does not become a Can I say something to you, Joe?
What the fuck?
Here's my thing.
Here's my thing. Agreed.
Here's my thing.
Because that's really
we are so used to.
And we're gonna stop it right there. I'm gonna put the link to the full episode in my bio if you guys want to go back and check it out. But we're gonna stop it right there. You can clearly see she's virtue signaling once again. Okay. Matter of fact, I'm gonna let this play a little bit more. Because I want to show y'all where she goes with it next.
Looking down upon black men. Not saying you're doing it, but people is, because the first thing you said, and I said this when he said about what he's teaching his 15-year-old son, is that you made an excuse by saying that
it's not an excuse.
Do you think
I asked a question?
You asked a question? Sorry, Mel. Saying that, do you think it may be too much pressure on this child?
Do you want to know why?
We don't think that.
Do you want to know why I asked that?
We teach our boys.
Do you know why?
I want to know why you asked
This is why I asked it.
Yes, ma'am.
Simple reason why. Because as black people, black women, black men.
Yes.
We are forced to grow up a lot faster than we should.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Mm-hmm. We are looked at as more mature than our years actually